Hello everybody, how is it going? And welcome to Planet Zoo with me, JewJuBee, and today we are in a brand new plot. We are starting a new zoo today with the new Australia pack. I've spent about a week playing around with it and kind of seeing how the new pieces work and trying to get a new vibe of a building style. And if you saw any of the live streams, then you know what we were working on. And today we're going to go through and I'm going to show you what we built and how it all is going to come out together to make us a nice zoo. In this episode, we are just going to be building sort of the parking lot and the entrance plaza to kind of give you guys a feel of the style that I'm picturing for our zoo. The style that I wanted to go with really kind of incorporates the Australia pack as well as the African pieces that we already had in the base game to kind of give us this rustic, contemporary, modern kind of style. We're using a lot of stones and wood beams, but we're also kind of keeping it modern in the actual architecture style. So there's a lot of flat roof pieces, kind of overhangs, some funky shapes and stuff like that. We are going to be limiting ourselves in this build to kind of help us know where the stopping point is and kind of round it off. That way we don't just have, an endless expansion and trying to fill as many animals as we can into the park. This zoo is only going to have 20 animals, and we're only going to have 16 exhibits or habitats if you count our reptile bug building as a habitat. And these animals that I picked out are based on the Melbourne Zoo, and all of these animals can be found in that zoo for the most part. I've given it a little bit of leeway so that we can have some enrichment with multiple animals in the exhibits. So the exhibits that we're going to be doing, we're going to have a kangaroo and koala exhibit because they enjoy being together. We're going to have zebra and giraffes, tapirs and anteaters, tigers, we're going to be using the Bengal tigers. We're going to have a snow leopard exhibit, wild dogs, crocodiles, lions and turtles. We're going to have a reptile and bug exhibit with a bunch of lizards and things. We're going to have African elephants. We're going to have a primate area with orangutans, both of the lemurs, and gorillas. All in separate habitats, of course. And we're going to have the cassowary and red pandas. And that is the idea that I have for this park. So we aren't going to be doing this in a time-lapse sort of fashion because I wanted to be able to focus on really building and trying to make things look super nice. So I'm taking my time with the building, and what I did was I saved along the way, and I'm going to take you into each of these individual saves and show you the process of each step and where I was going and the ideas that I had to kind of show you the process of the building, because I felt like if I did a time lapse it would kind of constrain me to different things that you kind of get constrained with when you film in that style or record in that style. So instead we're going to go and do it this way. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of start a layout for the parking lot, because we are building a parking lot first. So I'm going to go ahead and cut to the first save and see where we are with that. So here we are with the basic layout of the parking lot that I kind of have. We have a nice long road coming in. I had to kind of bring it all the way back there to connect to the main entrance, which is all the way over there. But I had to make a road so the employees could walk in case they get reset. But yeah, so the road just pretty much comes in, and we have a little bit of some parking over here for general guests. We have some handicap parking over here as well. And then we have our fire lane and some emergency parking in case, police have to come. And then over here we have a gate to get to staff only areas. I did not build this entirely on my own. I did download it from the Steam Workshop, but I did delete quite a lot of things and kind of tweaked it around to make it a little bit of my own. But the layout of the roads and these large chunks here were not my design. But yeah, so this is just kind of the beginning, starting off point that we were going to be using, just this kind of roundabout system. We are going to add some plants in the next jump, and that's after adding trees and a little bit of a river over here, we definitely get more of the vibe that we're going for. And then over here is where we're going to be constructing our new entrance plaza. So yeah, I mean, it's really simple, nothing too crazy. I didn't want to do like a super huge parking lot because I kind of felt like this would be somewhat of a smaller zoo. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to the next save so we can see all of the new plants. So as you can see, it is totally different now that we have all of these plants in here, and I kind of tried to stick with some of the new plants that we got in the new Australia pack because I really do enjoy those new plants. So we have a lot of these eucalyptus trees, these gum trees, and these blood something trees. I forget what they're called, but yeah, all those are from the new Australia pack. And then also we got some rocks and stuff in here. We're just kind of keeping with this sort of drier desert theme. Not necessarily desert, but definitely a drier climate, sort of like Australia and Africa. We have a few ferns and things, and some like cactus style plants, and some low-lying shrubbery. So nothing too extreme, not really heavy, dense forest areas, and just a lot more cactuses and kind of things like that. We will have a river heading across here. Haven't done it yet by this save, but this is where I was planning to have some sort of a river system, because I definitely wanted to have water involved in this parking lot. And then as you can see in this sign, we actually have a name now for the park. It is Forever Green Wildlife Refuge, and I named this park after my blog, which if you follow me at all, then you know that I have a blog called Forever Green, where I write a lot of blog posts about different ecological issues and crises, and kind of how you as a citizen of the world can make small changes at home to kind of help alleviate some of those things. Things like the land sparing and land sharing, energy conservation, water conservation, the illegal pet trade, and stuff like that. And I have different blog posts about that. My most recent blog post was actually about biodiversity and how our loss of biodiversity can lead to more worse pandemics than we do have right now. So if you are interested, the link for that will be in the description. But I decided that was a good idea to name this park after it. So it is the Forever Green Wildlife Refuge. It is going to be a conservation-focused zoo. So we will have some aspects of like education in the park, some classrooms and things, and a learning center for students if they were to come for like a field trip or something, areas for them to learn and sit, and outdoor theaters and stuff for people to get some shows and some information about like the animals. So maybe like if they're at the lemur section, there might be a show twice a day where they come and they talk about the lemurs and the conservation efforts made and stuff like that. So that was the idea that I had for that. But yeah, but it's definitely starting to take shape. I don't think we touch much more of this other than adding a few cars and the little river over here. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next jump cut so you guys can see how things are changing. So now, as you can see, there is a little bit more life in the zoo. We have some cars parked, some buses running around, just to kind of give it more of like a feeling that people are actually here. And we also have the river in now, which I think looks super cool. We haven't gotten the road in just yet, so people can actually drive over there. We have some cars here. I downloaded all of these cars from the Steam Workshop. If you just go to the Steam Workshop and look up cars, I organized it by most subscribed to or most popular. These are all kind of at the top there, so I just kind of plop them in some of that. We actually have this guy here driving. He's trying to find a nice parking spot. I think he looks super cool. And then I also added in these signs over here, so when you are driving into the zoo, we got some of these cool new signs that we got with the Australia pack. I really thought they looked kind of cool, kind of interesting style, and all of these animals that came with the Australia pack are going to be going into the zoo, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to get them in here. We also got some buses over here. We'll have a bus stop over here eventually. And I added this a hot dog squad snack van, so people can stop and grab some food, maybe if they had a really long drive and they just got to the zoo, so that way they can get some food before entering the park. We are going to add another one as well over here in kind of like a picnic area, and I thought it looked really cool. It's a little bit open and exposed in the back, so we had to add some foliage to kind of distract you from that, but I think it looks okay. It looks definitely fine, doesn't look too bad. But yeah, and that's pretty much it. We have the nice river, just kind of comes around here, and a little pond over here, so when you're driving in, you get a nice view of the parking lot. And I think this river will eventually continue all the way in through the zoo, so we have some bridges and stuff in the zoo, and different lakes and rivers running through the different exhibits. But yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty cool. I was really liking the vibe that we were kind of getting at this point. I also added some utility trucks kind of coming in and making some deliveries. As you can see, we're going to have some I want to try and include some backstage things. I don't really know. I'm not that good at knowing where to put it and how to get it all connected. So I kind of just started it off here, and we're going to see how it'll go as the park develops. But yeah, I'm thinking it's looking really cool. In the next jump, we're going to actually start construction on the entrance plaza, which I used a reference image to try and go off of that, so you will see how that kind of shapes up in the next cut. But we're going to go ahead and jump to the next cut so you guys can see how that construction started. So at this point there isn't really too much to see. You can just sort of see the basic foundation work of this entrance plaza that we're working with. Very simple at this point, just the first floor, but as you can see we're going to have 3 main entrances into the zoo, as well as a building over here that you can go in, and we're going to have some information booths in here for people to get some, maybe buy some tickets and stuff like that before entering the park, or maybe they need some guest relations, as well as some bathrooms, and we'll have some staff rooms and stuff like that. But yeah, as you can see, it's a very simple style. We're going with this brick and wood style. This is the new wood that came with the Australia pack, and then this is the base stone from the game. But yeah, just really simple, and we're also going to be incorporating a lot of wooden beams. But this is just a very raw cut, just very simple, throwing down some blocks and seeing kind of where the layout is that I wanted. It definitely does tweak just a little bit. For the most part, we kind of keep this style. The only thing that really changes is some of the walls. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next jump so you guys can see how this building evolved. If you were in the live stream, then you got to see this process of how we got to right at about here. This is what we worked on in the live stream, so you know this is what we did. For those of you who weren't in the live stream, I'm just going to show you really quick kind of what we did. So now we are kind of going up in elevation to kind of try and get some floors and some layouts. We have a bit of a porch system going on here, and these super cool doors, which I really like the way that they came out. And we also have this sort of awning area. And we started to do some gardening work, so we have this super awesome kind of centerpiece with the new surfboards in there, as well as some seats around them. And yeah, it's just really simple, just kind of showing off some of the gardening work. This is kind of the style that we're going for. Like I said, some low shrubbery, nothing really too tall, nothing too bushy. Kind of assuming that this place probably doesn't get too much rain, but it definitely does get rain, but just not a lot. It's probably more hotter and drier in the year than anything else, so that's why we're kind of going with this style. But yeah, I think it's really coming out. These are the type of windows that we're going to be using, some nice big windows. We got the staff room in now, so the staff can come and take a break, which I really think it's so cool how they have these interiors, and I wish that they would do this a lot more so that we could have interiors for like gift shops and stuff like that. And then we also have we haven't placed it yet, but this is where the information buildings are going to go. But yeah, so that's how it's shaping up. It's really coming along now. We've got some more stone over here and things like that, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the next jump and see really how this building is taking shape. Okay, so we got this jump here. Not much has changed with the architecture of the building. We have a few more windows in and some of this garden work done here now. But the biggest kind of difference here is we added another food stall. We have some smoothies over here now, and I added some benches just for people to be able to come and have a little picnic stop. Maybe they brought some food with them before entering the zoo, or if the kiddies come on like a field trip, this is where you know, they would have their lunch, and you know, if they told them they needed to bring a lunch, they would all sit here and eat. But just a cute little area. It's definitely nice and shaded during the day, which I think looks really cool. We definitely have a really nice vibe over here. As for the building, the only thing that really has changed is we added some windows, and we're starting to add sort of this wood beam kind of structure here. But yeah, for the most part, that is it. The back of the building is still very bland. Not much work on that just yet, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. We're gonna go ahead and go to the next jump, where I think we'll see a huge development and change in how this building is looking. As you can see now, it's quite of a big jump. We have a lot more things that are changing. Probably one of the most notable things is this big green patch on the top of the building here. I just kind of added some lattice work and some plants. You know, I thought it kind of looked nice, gave it a little bit more greenery, because the building was looking kind of plain without it. We also added these nice cool statues. I thought they were kind of cool. I don't really like how this one moves. I wish it was a little bit more stationary like this one, but I think it looks fine. Especially when the game is paused, you know, you can just imagine that it's not moving. But yeah, with just some rusty kind of styles, I thought it really kind of played along with that rustic style. So we went ahead and got those put in. And then we also added this ticket purchasing booth, whatever you want to call it, kiosk over here. In case you don't want to go to guest services to purchase some tickets, you can just come here and purchase it with like a credit card or something. That way you can just, you know, buy them before you enter into the zoo. Yeah, and then we also added the doors here. I would imagine that at the end of the day, these doors would shut so that people can't enter the zoo anymore. And then we also have these little kiosk areas on the inside. These are the actual zoo entrances. And then we have these little bars, so when people, you know, they know whether or not they can come in or not, if their ticket's scanned properly. And then we have some computers over here that we would imagine that staff would sit by and use to scan people's cards, or if they needed to contact some tech support or something, and they would just kind of hang out in here. And then on the back of this building, we have a little bit more work done. We got the doors in on this side, which I would assume close as well at night. We also got the plants holding the doors open. I thought this was kind of cool. Kind of gave it just like a vibe, like maybe they're just propping them open. So that's where those are. And then over here, not much work yet. We just have some windows in here, and I kind of put some art blocks on the inside of the windows so you can't really see in there, because without those, the windows are see-through, and it's just kind of a big mess of walls in there. As you can see, just looks kind of like this. So I just kind of blocked them off. Just imagine like maybe they had like a stain or in the window, or like a thing so that people can't look in. But in there is a restroom, and then on this side you can also enter in through here, and that gives you access to the restroom here as well. And then on this side, if we turn around, we have the information booths in. The pathwork underneath here, if I can get under to see, I don't know if you can really tell, but the paths aren't connected. So to be able to get to the information kiosks, you have to go in through this front door. And then to get to these restrooms, you have to enter through this back door. And they aren't connected, so people can't just enter the park around that way. But also, I did that so that people are entering and exiting these doors for different reasons. And it makes the traffic look a little bit nicer to have people going in and out the front door, and in and out the back doors, and these doors over here. So there's going to be people walking all up and around this building, giving it a lot of life, a lot of energy. So yeah, I'm thinking it's looking really cool. The only thing that we're really going to do in the next jump is kind of get some building and pathwork in on the other side, and kind of finishing up some more small details and just a little bit of things and kind of cleaning it up. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to that last cut so we can see how all of this turned out. Alright, so here we are. This is the final rendition of the building. This is exactly how it turned out. Not much has changed in relative to the last jump. We just have a little bit more detail work on the building. We also added in the super cool bus stop blueprints. I got those off the Steam Workshop as well. So yeah, as you can see, things are looking pretty cool. So you know, people will be able to come in and get all kinds of cool things going for them. So we added in these doors over here for the staff room. I mean, you can kind of see through it. It looks a little bit weird, especially when they go through it, because the little door opens, but I don't really mind it too much. We added a little bit of artwork in here. I'm thinking about adding in some stuff, maybe like some booths and things, but I don't know how much I want to do with interiors. I don't think I want to do too much, just to save some FPS. And I was kind of thinking with this level that we're at is probably the best or the most that we're going to do. But yeah, super cool. And then this, I think, look, is really cool here. If we can squeeze in here, is that this goes all the way up, so you can see the what is it called, the window all the way up through the ceiling. I think that is super cool. And then after you go in here, we just added in this building here. If you were in the last live stream before, we built this entire building. This is my kind of overview after we first got the pack, and I was kind of trying to see if I can figure out a style or some way to incorporate everything from the new pack into a nice, super cool building. And I think it came out really cool. We need to cut some of this grass a little bit. We got a little bit of overgrown here. Yeah, but this is like a huge stop for guests. We have a little bit of interior work in here. I just need to add the paths and tables. I haven't done that yet. But we have some coffee and pizza pen over here. And then the guests can also come over here, and this is where there'll be more tables and some restrooms. And we just have kind of a lot of little trinkets and things hanging around here to kind of give us this like super cool vibe. And then if they come through this door here, we have a nice gift shop, which I think is super awesome. All of these assets are downloaded from the Steam Workshop, so you can get them too. All I did was Google gift shop, and it was in the scenery section, and it was kind of one of the most subscribed to. So people can come in here and get Looney balloons, as well as hats. It's fantastic. Super cool, but the style I kind of wanted to go for was that, you know, on a nice hot day, people can come in here and all kind of hang out. A huge communal hangout place for tons of people, and just everybody's walking around and hanging out here and relaxing and enjoying the sun. And then eventually, this way, I want to have a pretty decent lake water feature over here. So if people are hanging out on this porch, they can look over and see quite a lot of water and maybe a large open area with some animals. So we do have quite a few exhibits that are going to have multiple animals. For example, we're going to have a zebra and giraffe exhibit, or maybe even the kangaroo koala exhibit. One of those two kind of in this area, so that it's huge kind of safari spread, so where the people are sitting here and enjoying, you know, the fire maybe in the evening, they can kind of look out and see this beautiful landscape, this Australian landscape. So yeah, that was kind of what I had envisioned. That's why I placed it here. So yeah, maybe in the future that's where that will go. But other than that, I think it is really cool. This building has a lot more detail than the entrance building, because I didn't want to put too much stuff over here. I just felt like this was kind of like, you know, you come in, you go, you don't really hang out here too much. So I didn't want to do like a whole bunch of detail work, as opposed to when you're in the zoo, you get all these cool details and themed things. But yeah, I really love the style or the vibe that you get in here. It just kind of feels like this really cool summer vibe, you know, really open buildings, lots of windows. It'd probably not really have really good AC in here. We don't have fans in the game, but I would imagine this building would have like huge fans, really slow, huge fans up on the top. As you can see here, we also have some of the fruits and vegetables, which I think came out really cool. Something that I recently have discovered is using pieces from the like animal exhibits and using those in the decor. So here I use a tire, and then I use these boxes. I never really thought about that. I saw it in a speed build for somebody else and thought that was such a cool, super cool idea. So I went ahead and did that. We also got these balloons here. I got these balloons off the Steam Workshop as well. I thought they were kind of funny. They're very, very big and kind of not really cartoony, I guess, but I thought they kind of went fine out there. As for the building, really nothing has changed. We got a little bit more detail work out here on the outside and stuff like that. I haven't done much landscaping out here around the back because I'm not quite sure what's going to be over here and what shops and stuff, so I'm going to wait to do that at a later state. But yeah, I think after we come in here, there might be one more building right here of something small, maybe like another gift shop, like a just a memento, so you can, as you're exiting the zoo, you can grab like your last minute things. And then we'll have our first exhibit probably right about here in this area. I'm not quite sure which animal we'll do just yet. Nothing too attractive, I guess, if you will. I mean, it's kind of upsetting to say that all the animals are important, but just not ones that are going to be like, you know, people are going to come into the zoo. It's going to be the first animal you see, so it's like, wow, that's the first animal. But, you know, all the really expensive animals that people are really coming to the zoo to see are kind of being more towards the back, so people will have to pass them to see them. But I think, yeah, right over here we'll have one more building, and then probably that first exhibit right about over here. But yeah, so that is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video. If you do want to see more of a let's build or a speed build kind of style, let me know in the comment sections below. I felt like this was a definitely more interesting way to do it, so that way I can kind of just you know, build on my own free will and just kind of work on things as long as I want to, and kind of tweak and change things as much as possible, and just kind of save it after a certain point. This allowed me to, focus a little bit more in detail, as opposed to, when you do speed builds, you kind of have to focus on making sure you're keeping the camera still, working on one spot and then moving to another, whereas this, I don't really have to focus on any of those things. I can kind of just, put a movie on in the background or put some music on and just kind of build through it and experiment on my own and see how things are. But yeah, so let me know in the comment sections which style you want to see. I could always try to do the next style in a speed build style, and then you guys can compare. But for now, if I don't get really any feedback or you guys really enjoy this, I'm just going to stick with this style because I think this works best for me. And then we can also, work on it in the live streams and stuff like that, which if you are interested in watching any of the live streams, we stream Planet Zoo every Saturday from 3 to 6, so you're always welcome to come watch that out on Twitch. The link will be in the description below, as well as the link to my blog for Evergreen if you want to go read up on some, ecological crises, or some interesting things about the environment. There's some cool blogs and stuff on there, as well as a nice intro blog about me if you just kind of wanted to learn some things about me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, please leave a like so that I know that you guys are enjoying these things. Also, if you are not subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free, so if you change your mind in the future, you can always just unsubscribe. But yeah, I hope to see you in the next episode, and I hope you have a great morning, evening, or night, wherever it is, wherever you are in the world. Goodbye.